What's cracking, guys? Welcome back to Clash with Barndo. Tonight we're going to be going over our War Win 171, but tonight I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to actually show some fails. 1 star win, 88.88 to 88.16. What was a quite enjoyable war, and right down to the last attack the opponents could have won it. Sorry, just got me coffee. So let's have a look. They've hit 2s on all of our 10s and 11s, and then obviously 3-starred everything else. So it was a even bases of 8 versus 8 with the Town Hall 10/11s, and Barndo 80. I'll just show the base. Where are we? I don't need to show the attack, just the base is fine. So you see it's Town Hall 9 defences. So Town Hall 9 defences, 3-star from Barndo 80. I hit that with a go wee wee and a few hogs for the finish. It wasn't a pretty raid, but every now and again you got to, throw in an ugly one just to get through. If we have a look, we probably didn't maximise on these bases well enough. It was a little bit late in the war before I actually realised and had a look. These guys have got a lot of rushed Town Hall 11s, so we're seeing more and more now with the rushed Town Hall 11s. Let's check out his troops. Only level 2 witches at the moment, but you see low king, low queen, max infernos, max expos, and just sitting with some 9 defences. We're seeing this more and more, and it really affects where you build clans. You've got to have a look and have a look at how you assess your clan and where you build it up, and that's why I have the clan mascot. That's where he originated from, and then also Pirate 2, who now fills in the 8.5 plus. But what I'll do is, I've got a list, I wrote it down, you can hear me turning my pages now. So I've got a list of 4 attacks I want to show, and it's no one in particular, it's not me picking on people. 2 of the raids were actually mine. So I'm going to show, you can see, we have a look through here. Hoff had 1 failed, Jaco had a couple of failed, 81B had a failed, Boobs had a failed, and then JDam had 2 fails as well. So we have a look down the bottom there. Mascot had the 49% 1-star. So what I want to do is go through some of those attacks and have a bit of a laugh, have a bit of a point out, but it's not all perfect rating, We're a fair play clan. We've just hit 90% win ratio over our list, and these are the things that get you there, So we'll have a look at this base. I've scrolled through it before. He did have a similar base on number 6, 5, something like that. Number 5, I think it was. But the basic plan for me doing this raid was I was going to earthquake around that Inferno and open up that Town Hall at the same time, then a couple of golems down the bottom. And then I wanted to save those 2 giants and a couple of wizzies for the end. But that's not how I did it. What you've got to remember, when you do your raiding, if you're not going to hit into an Eagle Artillery, you've got to realise how you're going to get that percentage at the end, and that's where I muffed up. So he had a couple of spring traps on his outside bases, outside walls. That's pretty standard now in Town Hall 10 bases. Not many people use the springs inside a base. So the earthquake was on song. I think I did have the extra earthquake. So that's just to get an extra bit of percentage off the Clan Castle, Town Hall and the Inferno. Obviously they do less when you hit them with more, but that Town Hall wasn't touched yet, so. Reasonable spread on the golems on the bottom. Reasonable spread, golem whiz on the top. Now what you see, the first thing you see is this loon is here, and it's just going to smash up those golems, and that was a big fail. Straight away from, I'd like to consider myself to be a reasonable raider, but even I make mistakes, and you see those golems are going to cop it right on their head. So you see a really good, was a really good rage popped by the warden. That was timed well. You do see down the bottom here we've got 3 wizzies. That hound's still soaking damage. You're down to Golemite. on one of the golems, so it's still going alright. Only 30% though so far. Still haven't used me poison. Still got one full rage to go. So that rage goes down. The hound is now popped, and that's starting to cause a bit of grief down the bottom as well. Those skellies will slow the queen down. More skellies to come and slow the queen down. Keeping in mind, if they get locked onto a golem is a good thing, as that will then, they'll die. So we're at 47%, and I know I've stuffed it. What I want to do is, I did actually fail to show the biggest mistake I made. So the warden's there, he's pew-pewing away. He wouldn't have got much more if he was a higher level, but big failures there was to not have more cleanup troops. What are you going to do with them, you ask? Well, I maybe could have used a couple minions over there. One or two minions over there would have been good, providing, of course, you can keep the attention of the Eagle Artillery. I'm sorry, you just have to sit through with it for 30 seconds while I fast forward through. The biggest mistake I had at the end was where I used those last three wizards. So the intention was to keep two giants, but in the end I dropped them both down like an idiot. So I got to the end and I was a bit flustered, knowing that I'd sort of stuffed it, and I still could have saved it. So right there, that's the biggest mistake. I dropped down three wizzies spread out, so they killed the builder's hut, did a little bit of damage to that builder's hut, to the barracks, but then obviously he targets that gold mine. So really what I should have done was put the three wizards all together next to shoot that barracks first and then hit that builder's hut. If I had have done that, I would have got the 50%. So even up until the last minute, there was still plenty of options. I could have had minions flying around whilst that warden was just sitting there with his finger in his arse. So, you know, bit of a mistake from myself. They do happen, but you've got to really analyse at the end of a war, or even after each attack. You've got to sit down and go, right, where do I stuff it up? And that was pretty much where I stuffed that up. So it is hard as a clan leader. A lot of people get a little bit scared about helping you out and saying, oh, you know, you made this wrong and you made this wrong. Always encourage people to give constructive feedback. You know, it's constructive criticism is how we get better at this game. So this is the same base structure. Shitty defence levels. A lot of that's Town Hall 9. There's a couple of Town Hall 8 things. You know, like this should have been a 3-star base in the end after having assessed further down the track. So many different options to do. You could walk down the bottom with a queen. If you put a queen in there with 4, I would say probably 4 would be enough. Healers, maybe 5. But you would get all of that bottom section, including the queen, the warden, defence, and then get up to the end there without even breaking a sweat and without activating that eagle laser. And that's things that you need to start assessing as well. Let's have a look what JDM's done. I haven't actually watched this beforehand. Alright, 2 hogs to draw that clan castle. 1 hog would have been enough. So there's already 5 units wasted. So yeah, he's got the outside traps as well. It's good to draw that hound. The reason you'll want to draw that hound is so he's not getting it when he's in midfield. You don't want to get a hound while the queen's sitting on the town hall. So it was a reasonable start. Where did it go wrong? Don't really understand the jump down the bottom there. I think some wall breakers might have been a better use of spells. Alright, what's the plan to get into the town hall? No ground's going to get to the town hall like that. That's just a jump, and he wants to put the queen in there by the looks of it. The golems have gotten stuck, so it probably could have been a better jump. Now his 4 golems have gone down, and that enemy queen is just pew-pewing away. She's smashing those golems. Standard to sort of have those skellies in midfield. Queen down the bottom there is just owning those golems. Now our queen is going to probably draw that king when she pops the ability, I'd assume. Oh no. Other queens just come over to say, how you going? Giant bomb, bang, dead queen. Yeah, so lots wrong there. Couple of clean-up troops left. They probably could have been, they could have gone out a lot earlier in the stages, because now obviously the raid is stuffed. I think that jump to get into that town hall probably wasn't a good idea. If he had have maybe used the earthquakes similar to how I did mine, keeping in mind you can use a donated one now, that may have been better. So it's a fairly standard base structure, that one at Town Hall 10, and you do see a few conversions to Town Hall 11. You're not really having to add that much. Now let's have a look at where Hoff, I think I showed Hoff in the last war hitting a 3-star. So we're not talking about guys that, you know, just do average every war. We're talking about guys that that perform well, you know, like we all make mistakes. Where are we, Hoff? 1 star, 43% versus their number 1. Now this was a pretty interesting base, and I did kind of like it. It ended up taking Barndo 80 to beat it. And let's have a look at how Hoff's assessed it. So he's gone in, we'll pause there, he's gone in with the donated earthquake, and 3 of his own, so then that way he doesn't need to take a loose half spell. He's just assumed it's a hound, which it was, and then he's taken 2 jumps and 2 rage. Now he's used 6 golems. I thought it was 7, but it is 6 golems. Now you just see a really, really large spread of these golems, and if you have a look, that golem's, I'll pause this, that golem's dead and now been split, and these first 4 wizards haven't even got that first line of buildings down. We have a look up here, the second golem's at 50%, and again those wizards are just going to get stuck. And where are we here? These golems aren't doing too bad. They've tripped a giant bomb. 3 of them have pulled up there. So there's a bit of tanking capacity over there, but the left side's just devoid of much tanking capacity at all. So he's got a couple of hogs as well. He's faffed about with those. All the meantime, he still doesn't have his king and queen on the playfield doing that valuable DPS. Queen just comes down now. There's no tanking on the left side now. That second golem's been split. If you have a look now, out of these 4 golems, one's been split, one's not far off, one's at 30% health, the other's at half health. So they're not far off, and he's only just starting to get the clan castle coming up. He's only got his queen. There's bugger all wizards in the midfield. King's going to get held up. He's also going to get targeted by defences. And yeah, queen obviously stuck on that hound. And that valuable split. So now he's at 40%. All he's got left is his queen's ability. He probably should have held that just a touch longer. Either way though, 43% at the moment. Queen's dead, raid's over. So for me, looking at that and analysing it, you can see the left hand side was just dead from tanks. I think it was a bit too spread of a attack, and that's why he's gotten so low a percentage. Now what's funny about that is I sat there and watched that raid a couple of times, and then it hit it with Barndo 81B, and I've got no stars. So, you know, like, I'd like to think, again, I've said it earlier, but I can assess the raids pretty well most of the time. 2 stars isn't rocket science, and I've got a 44% 0 star, so it was a big fail from me. Let's have a look what I've done. I'll start down the bottom here with the minion. I'm not drawing the clan castle. I'm going to earthquake out some wall sections. So you see that clan, the town hall's at 60% there. So the town hall's probably at 60, 55% at the start. Now you see 3 golems go up on that top left. And then 2 golems on the right. Where's the 6th golem go? So it's a lot quicker for these. They've moved up nice and quick. The 3rd one on the right hand side there. So there's some good tanking for the capacity there. First rage hits the floor. Golems are soaking that up. Out comes the clan castle. Now you see the queen's untouched. The king's in midfield there. 2nd rage down, but the queen's got stuck on that hound again. And the king starts hitting walls. That's right, go king. Queen's had to pop her ability, still on pups. Town hall's only just under 50%. Queen's dead. So you can see not really that great a raid. Didn't get any percentage. I did save those 2 giants for the end there to get 3 or 4 buildings because I knew that eagle wouldn't be dead. So really in the end, I think to be able to get that base, you would need to draw that clan castle attacking from that side. And I didn't. So yeah, that was a fail there from Barndo. That's a lot of skellies. So 44%. Could I have gotten much more outside? Probably not. It just wasn't the way to hit that. What I'll do is I'll show the last attack. I'll show is nothing special, but the 2-star. So I've shown 2 attacks how they failed versus this base, and then I've rethought it with my main account. Good old Barndo 80. But as you see, level 15 Warden, there's a fair bit of difference there. So the earthquakes open from the outside straight into the town hall. So this is more of a 3.6 go. Out comes that clan castle. But the good thing is you've got plenty of golems there. Use the warden's ability early while things are tanking. King's made it to that first inferno in the middle. So you see I did use the 2 giants and 4 whizzies on that outside, and they still didn't really get that whole... didn't really get much. In the end, I think maybe a few hogs might have been a bit better. You could have used maybe 3 or 4 hogs and gotten a lot of those defences. 54% now. Queen's going to get that eagle down. So now the Queen gets stuck there shooting that wall. The Warden turns around and starts shooting a wall. Then the Warden starts shooting another wall. All the meanwhile, all the archers are dead. There's golems that are sitting there that are targeting that archer tower. They will be targeting that archer tower. And the Warden just sits there and says, fuck you, I'm going to shoot this wall that I could jump over anyway. So you do see the Warden AI is a little bit knackered at the moment too, but there's not that many mistakes. You do see him jump around quite a few times. But yeah, that's our war. Still nice to get the win. They did a lot of witch attacks and didn't manage to get any 3-stars. So it looked like, where are we? South Korean clan, that's it. So we got Chrome, and Chrome. It looked like it was a bit of a Chrome versus Barndo war. So we had a bit of a laugh, had a giggle, enjoyed it. So yeah, good to get away with the win, steal it at the end. But as always, I hope you guys have had a laugh and clash on.